Hello there, BookTube. My name is Daniel. Welcome back to my channel, Guilty Feet. Seriously, I've got no rhythm. Today I'm going to a book tag. I haven't done one of those for years, and partly doing book tags, I want to make a video today, and I was supposed to be a book haul because my friend from the UK is visiting and brought a whole bunch of books that I've had sent to his house over the past, I think, almost a year. He didn't even bring all of them because there were too many to bring. Luckily, we're going to London in August, so I'll pick up the rest. But I've been shipping stuff to his home, and he brings them to me very, very kindly. And we were supposed to see him last night, and I was going to make a video this morning about all the new books, but we're seeing him tonight instead. So I haven't got the books yet, but I thought I'd come on and do a try and catch up a whole bunch of tags. Well, I'll do one because it's been a while. This is the Book Confessions tag that was originated by a channel called Book Reviews with Becky. So thank you, Becky, for coming up with this. I just saw it and thought I'd do it. So here we go. What is an unpopular book opinion preference you have? I like actual physical books. I like to buy a lot of secondhand books. I don't think it's particularly unpopular, or these are more preferences. So I only read physical books. I don't read electronically. I have read a book on my phone once, just because I was somewhere where I couldn't take the book out. Yeah, I buy actual physical books. I don't put anything on my main shelf until I've read it. Is that unpopular? So none of the books on the shelf which you've seen behind me in the intro, everything that gets shelved in alphabetical order has been read. So I have a separate place where I keep my unread books. What other unpopular opinions? I don't do audiobooks. I don't, you want to consume books that way, that's fine. For me, it's a different experience. I think reading is an active pastime. Listening, I regard as somewhat more passive. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I don't listen to books. How has your reading taste changed over the years? How? I mean, taste matured, perhaps. I'm sort of, I'm less likely to read. I'm less finding out what I like. I've done a whole lot of that, explored different things, had better experiences and worse experiences with different authors, genres, types of books. So I'm not, I still like to experiment and read outside my comfort zone, but I think I'm more focused now. I'm probably reading a bit more non-fiction than I used to. Like, I'm energized by well-written non-fiction. I like narrative non-fiction, but I like good, informative, interesting non-fiction, and it sort of leads to more interesting discussions. But I still read a lot of fiction, a lot of crime fiction, read a lot of comic books, graphic novels, stuff like that. What genre do you read to get out of a book slump? Well, I'm a fairly consistent reader. I do a lot of reading on Shabbat, where I don't use my phone or the computer or anything else. Every week I have one day, 25 hours, where I'm not doing anything else, and I do a lot of reading Friday night and then Saturday during the day. And so I don't really fall into slumps. I guess a slump would be if I get stuck in a book for a very long time. So a 1,000-page book, which is just and one Saturday afternoon we're out and I don't get to do much reading and I'm stuck in it, because I'm a monogamous reader. I only read one book at a time. So sometimes I've been stuck in a single book for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and that sort of feels like a slump. And then maybe I would reward myself with something light and breezy, whether it's comic books or a detective part of a series that I've enjoyed, just to sort of build momentum up again. So it's not so much a slump as getting bogged down in reading, where it becomes more of a chore than a joy. And it's my hobby. I don't do this for a job. And so it should be fun. Fun includes challenging yourself, but it also, I need to reward myself occasionally if I've challenged myself to an extent where it became more work than pleasure. So yeah, again, not really a slump, but a slowdown. And so I would try and read something light to pick up momentum. What are some of your automatic buy authors? So I buy most of my books. I just listen to Steve Donahue talk about how he buy. Why would I buy books? Steve Donahue, another reason why you are the worst person on the planet. Yeah, I buy almost all my books. Well, I have been sent a couple recently. I am sort of veering towards Donahue territory and the sort of minuscule nano. I'm a nano Donahue, but I got sent a couple books recently, which I'm taking possession of tonight. But I mostly buy books. Must-buy authors would be authors who have consistently given me great pleasure. So great writers, Colson Whitehead, Lauren Groff, Jesmyn Ward, Attica Locke, James Elroy, Walter Mosley, I guess Ian McEwan, Rich Osman. I bought each one of his books as they've come out because they've just been a source of joy. So yeah, it's the must-buy authors have just consistent. Salman Rushdie have consistently delivered something that sets me off and has me tingling and says, yes, I want to be on the train with this author throughout the career. Jhumpa Lahiri. I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of must-buy authors that I just seem to be buying them as they come out. Okay. How many chances do you give an author before you won't try them again? One. And that can be the first book that I've tried this person, or long into reading this author, one particular author who wrote, he had a couple, he was writing sort of crime detective stuff, and there were a couple of series that I was following. There was a standalone, and I was reading. I went, I started halfway through his career, so I went back to the beginning and read a whole bunch. And then there was one book which I found so icky and offensive and just and I just dropped him and decided I'm not going to read any more of this author. It made me really uncomfortable, and I found the book unpleasant, and I've sort of hidden him now behind other books on the shelf. But there are other authors where I'll read one, I'll just go, I can't. I haven't enjoyed anything about this. I think if I sat down to dinner with the author, we'd get into a fight, and so I don't read at the pace of other people. I'm reading a good amount, and in the last couple of years, it's slowing down, which is not great. I don't have the time to continue pushing with an author. I've given authors additional chances where I didn't have a great experience, but I came back. I did a whole post on a video about Paul Auster, where I started with the New York trilogy, which I did not enjoy, and sort of gave up until someone left a copy of one of his books in my home, and I read more of it. So there are occasions where I've sort of said I'm done with this author, but I've come back to them. But really, there's so many books to read, so many new authors to try, so many authors that I love that I want to read more of their work or their back catalogue. And so, I'm not in the business of giving out chances. It's about me. It's not about the author. The reading, I have maximum respect for the author, but the reading experience is mine, and I have to try and maximise the time I have left. Do you have anything to listen to while you read? I mean, I occasionally drink a cup of tea. I don't listen to anything. Although I was always a big listener. I used to listen to radio when I was doing my homework back in school. But no, I tend to be focused on reading when I read. How far do you read before DNFing? I say I don't DNF. I made a video about the one book that I DNF'd in the past 15 years. So my pact with the author is that if I start your book, I'll read it to the end. And I'm relatively quick with reader, that I can push my way through. So, but the one book that I DNF'd in the last however many years, I was about 60 pages in, and it hurt me to DNF it because I thought, I'll just push it. And this was just so poorly constructed and not what I was hoping for. It was supposed to be a brisk thriller, and it was not fun. It just moribund in the worst, most depressing way. And I just said, you know what? And it was a new to me author, so I didn't feel like I owed, or I had, I was paying back investments that I made. It was just new author, and I just said, I've misread this, and I'm done with it, and I'm going to close it. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to disclose the author or the book, and I'm just going to get rid of this and this off in a secondhand bookstore and get rid of it and swap it in for something else. Not something I'm not proud of it. I like the fact that I'm going to commit, because I do all my work. People coming home from school. Don't know why they're coming home from school this time of day. Anyway, I do all the work in the curation, in choosing what I'm going to read. That's where I've done the work. So the reading if I decide to pick up the book, I'm going to read it start cover to cover to cover. Do you ever find yourself making the same faces as the characters in the book? No, no. Didn't know that was a thing. I'm going to cut that last bit and re-edit it. A woman was making a TikTok with her son outside the window. We're on the first floor, so literally outside the window on the path behind our apartment building. Okay, so the question is rereading. Yes, no, depends. And I say I tend not to reread. Well, no, I don't tend not. I don't reread books, but I am kind of committing myself. I haven't made an announcement about this, but in my head, and I've spoken to people who ask me about reading, that 2026 is going to be my year of rereading. And so from January the 1st, I want to. Now, I haven't set what exactly the rules are. So there may be rereading, but also sort of a combination of rereading books and reading what you own. So I can maybe reduce my TBR rather than just have it static for the year. And maybe would also include. I might read things that are part of an ongoing series. So maybe I'll continue reading my Hercule Poirot books. We'll see. I say I haven't quite worked out the rules, but having not reread anything for most of my reading life, I think maybe it's time to revisit some of the books which I talk about as my favorite books of all time, or books that were super influential in me becoming a lifelong reader. Maybe it's time to revisit them. So to go back and look at Jane Austen, who I haven't read for at least 30 years, but I talk about, and maybe read Jane Eyre, which may not be as, I read at a young, impressionable age, and often will give as one of my favorite books. But maybe also to read some of the books that made me a reader, things like The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan, and maybe American Tabloid by James Elroy. I don't know if that will stand up on a revisit. Maybe some kids books. I can't see myself going back and reading Roald Dahl, but those have still live with me. Maybe I would revisit Narnia. I just haven't really planned it out, except I want to break with what has been my tradition up till now, and maybe do a bunch of rereads, some non-fiction. Maybe I would reread The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down by Anne Fadiman, which I often give as an example of my spectacular work of narrative non-fiction. I don't know. I haven't built the rules yet, and I tend not to be a stickler for rules when it comes to my reading, but just committing to a year of doing some rereading in a lifetime where I haven't, I think is going to be how I change it up in 2026. Tag other booktubers if you like this kind of thing. Do this. I'm sort of out of touch enough and haven't been committed enough to have people on speed dial, so apologies. But if you like this, do this. Hopefully back tomorrow with a book haul. Good night. God bless. Bye.